Welcome back. You tuned into Salaamedia, and this is Inspired Afternoons. And now it's over to our educational insight segment. And this is brought to you by Easy Stationers. They are wholesalers as well as retailers of everything you regard for your home office, schooling stationery, and all stationery, everything from a pen, pencil to flip charts to a projector, ink cartridges. So anything you think of, you need to get you going in terms of your office stationery needs, tools, devices, please contact Easy Stationaries. They supply schools in terms of wholesale orders, and just anybody, parent, child, can walk in for their cardboard for a project or even a little glitter glue. You'll find everything under one roof as at Easy Stationers, and they are situated at 109 Industrial Road in Amalgam. So today we are discussing an issue that has been surfacing since 2017 or a little before that, but has come to the fore because currently the Bela Bill is making its way with hearings all over the provinces. So the Bill is on tour around the provinces in there. And for many, there are numerous clauses in the Bela Bill that are concerning, problematic, and are not actually, according to those experts that I speak to and parents as well, they're not clear. The department themselves also keep on changing the proverbial goalpost, so to speak, in terms of what they're actually saying and what is meant, and its impact on. At the end of the day, it's the impact on our learners that and our children that is of primary concern. So previously, Salaamedia has been covering the Bela Bill from last year into this year extensively with many experts, even members of the Pathology Trust, as well as other uh, interested stakeholders and concerned stakeholders as well. But as a parent, I thought let's bring in the parental perspective, and the Bela Bill has brought to the fore many what I call them parental activists that have now uh, put lots of time, effort, and research in gathering concerned parents who are concerned with the bill to raise their concerns and opposition to the bill. So joining me, I have one such parent, and that is Mr. Rian Haldenhays. He's a former trainer and engineer at SABC, recently a homeschooling parent who now runs a charity project for self-reliance amongst others, and a supporting fundraising for independent community run schools. And then joining me on telephone is Ms. Rochelle Flinger in Glovo. She's a passionate activist and parent against the Bela Bill, and then also who couldn't join me but also a an advocate for the Bela Bill, as well as very instrumental in supporting parents in understanding the implications and the concerns of the Bela Bill, as well as getting parents to then voice their objections to the bill. And that is Junaid, who is a homeschooling parent of three and activist against the Bela Bill. And she's been carefully watching much of this debacle, growing anxiety at the same as many concerned South Africans. As the bill has been in and out of Parliament within the last few years since 2017 and has not managed to be passed through. She says, I think many people have been having, they say, over the years, but this time it is different. She says this time round, the Bela Bill has received measure pushback from the public, concerned individuals and organizations, especially from outraged parents and more so homeschooling parents, due to the clause 35 amongst other clauses. The Department of Basic Education now seeks to regulate homeschooling. This has forced the department to issue press statements and create additional media in order to explain the bill to counter the public's perception. And then she goes on to say also, but there's confusion with regard to what is inferior to caps and what is superior to the caps. So what I'm going to do is let's welcome Mr. Rian Haldenhays. Thanks so much for joining us here on Salaamedia. And you can tell us at where are we at the point now, and what are your concerns as a parent regarding various clauses on the Bela Bill?
Thank you, Mariam. It is extremely important to understand where the whole Bela Bill comes from in the first place. Back in 2008, there was a school in Ermelo that didn't want to go dual medium Afrikaans school, and of course, it was a political conundrum. And the politicians right now are telling people that it's about that school and that they're going to force everybody again to go back to Afrikaans schools, which is just untrue. That's not how it is. That case was resolved in the court back in 2010 already. It's now 14 years ago, and now suddenly they want to use that to make this to push through legislation, which is just all about central control and about taking away eclectical education that parents prefer, to bring in woke, or I could say postmodernist and modernist education, which parents do not agree with. That right now there's no school governing body that wants to bring back Afrikaans only schools or any of those things. So that is just that must be cleared up immediately. People need to understand that this bill is all about central control and not. It's about Marxism. It's that simple. I I can go through the clauses that really worries me a lot. Is of course clause 2, which brings a year in prison for a parent if they do not actively cause their child to go to school. It forces the school governing body now to turn against parents who, for whatever reason, cannot bring their child to school and to have to report that child. It's like authoritarianism at its worst, and it's not good. It is a terrible thing. The clause that was clause 3. So every clause is all about taking away power from the school governing body, the parents, in other words, to the state, and it's a secular state which tolerates no freedom of religion. As much as they say they do, they don't. They do not want people to have eclectical education, and that's where the problem lies. If parents do not all stand up against it, and if they don't look at ignoring the red herrings in the bill, and then get told, but this is not in the bill, something like about alcohol, which is not in the bill. Comprehensive sexuality education is not in the bill, but central control is, and they'll bring all those things in and regulations, which nothing prevents the minister, the head of the department, or the MECs from bringing in regulations that they want to bring in with no say from the parents. And that is the big problem with the bill. They can do anything they want. So parents need to stand up and stand against the terrible implementation of this bill and the zero consultation that was done in every province. Even Western Cape, which is arguably the best, there's only 2-hour meetings, and some of the Muslims cannot attend because it falls during prayer time. Now, at least in Cape Town, they're going to have a special meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But that had to be forced out of them. It's like they don't want to consult with anybody.
So I'm told Rochelle is on the line. Rochelle, good afternoon and welcome to Inspired Afternoons on Salaamedia.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
So, Rochelle, you also an activist and a passionate parent who is rejecting several clauses on the Bela Bill. So, I've been told, and I've been following much of Bela Bill proceedings and many what's the group in it. So, I think even the hearings in itself have been problematic, and many parents have claimed they were problematic. I think some of the concerns were that the actual places where hearings were held were in remote areas where the actual communities were not even aware of the Bela Bill, aware of the hearings, and then even like somewhere in Johannesburg, it was held in Orlando, where it's difficult to get to this venue, then in Randfontein, and in areas where people didn't know this. Then I was told that even at the hearings, people were told they cannot just reject the bill and that they should refer to clauses they want amended. What are the hearings for if it's not be able to hear public's voices, was much of it. And then they said that many the so the process has also been disappointing to many people, and they feel that at certain venues there were foul play as well there. So can you comment on that as a parent, your experience regarding the actual hearings?
Yes, I can do that. So what happens is we, as a parent in a parental community, like if you're in a child, like if you have a child in school, like there's so many children in school. For me, from my opinion, is that the DVE could have easily like informed all, like not sent a notice to all the school children to send to their parents to say, okay, this is what's happening, and there's going to be public hearings. Is going to be happening. Oh, sorry, I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can go ahead.
You can. Okay. And it's like not many people knew about the Bela Bill or that public hearings were actually happening. It's like the information was just sent in a tiny little newspaper, maybe one newspaper in the whole province. Hearings are happening over here, maybe even two. Not everyone had access and was aware of the hearings that were happening. If it was not for parents and like no parents, moms and dads that actually sent out information about them and was like trying to raise awareness about these things, about what's in the Bela Bill and about where these hearings were happening and who to send your submissions to, I don't think anyone would have known about it. And I've, like, from what I've read, like this Bela Bill thing has caused me to read quite a few things. What I've read is that as Parliament, like, it's their responsibility to actually inform people about the bills that are happening, send them the information as well as educate people, saying this is the bill, educate them on what's happening, where to go, how to actually like respond in order for this public participation to actually happen. Hearings, I did go to a hearing and they do, it's like you feel intimidated. You feel intimidated, like, am I going to say the right thing? Because instead of being comfortable, you need to be in a comfortable situation in order to express your opinion through adequately. But if you're being told by a superior that, don't talk about this and don't talk about that, you get a little bit intimidated. It's like, okay, is what I'm saying the right? Am I supposed to be saying this? Is it going to get a little bit like, no, like rejected? And that is not fair that is not fair, I think, to the public, because they're not legal people. They took the time to actually attend to the hearings, to read up about the Bela Bill and write out their speeches, and to be there and to participate in something and take a stand for something. So I do need to applaud them. You were saying earlier that the DBE was saying that we're rejecting only a few clauses. Like, it's recommend that we're rejecting only a few clauses, and they're saying that we shouldn't reject the whole bill if we only oppose a few clauses. But on the flip side, there were many speeches where the person said, like, I accept the bill, but then in their speech they told several clauses that they did not like about it. So I'm like, are they really accepting it, or were they told to just accept the bill and then they gave their actual opinion on it?
So let's
Yeah.
bring Rian here.
Mm.
So Rian, I think one of the major concerns in the bill is surrounding homeschooling, because I don't know, according to yourself as a parent and activist, do you feel the Department of Education had done sufficient research on homeschooling, the type of homeschooling environments, curriculums? Have they done sufficient research in what you call micro school or small learner centered tutorial centers that actually focus on inclusive education and really looks at the needs of each individual child in terms of education? Do you feel that sufficient research has been done before they've added these clauses of homeschooling or other has the Department of Basic Education been found wanting in terms of their whole approach towards a huge segment of the learner population that have elected to do homeschooling or attend micro schools or small tutorial centers?
Don't believe
Well,
the Department of Basic Education has done it. Sorry, Rian.
Can I ask Rian to respond?
To ask him.
well,
Yes, you can ask
Yeah.
him to
yes,
respond. Okay.
what Rochelle says, of course, there is no um, chance at all that they've done research. It's proven. It is. I can prove it with the clauses again. The minister wants to bring for herself the appointment, the right to appoint outside agencies. Now, which outside agencies will these be to advise the minister on curriculum matters? Now, the curriculum is extremely important. We must know that the law, even the Schools Act as it stands, asks for if there's home education or micro schools or tutor centers, that it has to be at least comparable to the actual curriculum statement as it is, which is fair. And homeschool parents need to understand that mathematics, whether it's math literacy or actual, full mathematics, and a first language, and there's certain subject that must be done. You have to be able to communicate, and you have to be able to reason, and that is important. The other subjects, though, is up to the parents to decide what the child should learn. There's so many things in the world to learn that it is time wasting to force somebody to actually drive to school for 2 hours and back again. All that time is wasted. That people can learn wonderful things about religious works, for example, philosophical works. There's everything to learn. There's so many people, there's so many books written in the world by scholars that know what they're talking about, and all of that opportunity is gone. It is wrong for the minister to go and talk to Belgium and Finland, whose Marxist secular education is not suitable to South Africa at all. We should not allow this. We cannot allow this. The in and it's every single clause is about central control. So every single clause of the 40 clauses must be rejected outright. We cannot have a situation where the state becomes the parent. It is not right. These are our children, and it's they don't belong to the state. We need to oppose this. Whether there's politicians now in the ruling party that tells parents, yeah, you're dreaming. This is not true. We don't want to control your. We don't want to interfere in your education for your child. We just want to standardize things. It is standardized already. Mathematics cannot change. I hope not, anyway. Otherwise, my engineering degree is gone. I hope it hasn't changed since that time, but I doubt it very much. I look at the curriculum now, and it's all still there. And language hopefully doesn't change unless it becomes this satanic woke nonsense that they're trying to push now, the lies on people and the redefining
So
words,
let me
which we should not allow either.
Rian, let's just
Yes.
focus now on the clauses, because these clauses are very specific where parents could end up becoming criminals, and that's
Of course.
a major concern, because in various clauses here you could be jailed, and then I read somewhere that in fact the department is seeking to extend the jail time as well for parents, probably homeschooling parents who have elected to, or maybe in the Islamic faith. If I decide now, come grade 7 for grade 8, I'd like my child to take a gap year and focus on Quranic studies, complete the memorization of the Quran, and then uh, get back into the schooling system maybe after a year and a half or two, and I could well then face jail time. So I would be regarded as criminal, and the ramifications for this is many companies, even part of your contract is that if you then have a criminal record, you could then lose your job, because that becomes part of your contract. And then once you have a criminal record, it doesn't matter whether you were charged for murder or robbery, or because you were jailed because you didn't you pursued your homeschooling curriculum under these clauses. a criminal record is a criminal record, would have major difficulty and bearing in terms of you as a breadwinner, income earner for your family, because and also your ability to travel then becomes curtailed if you have a criminal record, and it takes about 10 years to have this record expunged. So I'm sure that clause is really, really concerning for every parent who'd like to actually be that partner in education. That's what education is about, the partner in education with the educator, your secondary educator. So now that control is diminished, but then you could be criminalized. So Rochelle, tell me, how do you feel about those clauses in the bill?
I am alarmed by them as well, because children, like, you're right, like sorry, parents shouldn't, like, no, just to throw someone in jail or inflict like a fine on them or criminalize them for really something that I think needs to be dealt with by the Department of Education. We need to ask, why are children not going to school? Okay, I decide that, like, it's better for me to homeschool my child instead of send them out into the world into a school that has like overcrowding, whereas where if I'm homeschooling them, I can actually just teach them. There's 3 in my class. I can teach them, give them personalized attention. That is not fair. That is not right. Also, I know of children who aren't attending school because there aren't enough space in schools. So are those parents going to be criminalized, or did you criminalize the DBE? Who's going to be criminalized for that? When there is no space in school, who's going to be criminalized when the child cannot attend the school because there is improper, like, infrastructure in the school, like maybe the wall collapsed kind of thing, or the roof collapsed, or there's no water at the school kind of thing. So I don't think the DBE has thought that clause out properly. And we can't just be criminalizing people just because they want to, just for willy-nilly stuff. Now, understand the aspect where they're coming from. They're saying that they want to reduce the number of dropouts in school and make sure children are in school, and make it the parents' responsibility to ensure that children are in school. We also need to look at the fact of why they are not in school. And like you're saying, when children are studying, like, I joined the homeschool community, and I realized a lot of them is for religious reasons. Like, there's not schools, like when children go to school, they don't focus on religion, basically. And I understand that there are many religions, and I respect that. But it's almost as though it's wrong to be in a particular religion because you need to, because they want to be open to everything. But I can have my religion, and I can respect another person's religion as well. And that is what I feel it should be about. Not just saying that religion in school is bad. We should be respecting each other's religion. So, yeah.
So Rian,
I don't know if that answered your question.
Can I? Sorry. Yes, it does. Thank you,
You can
Rochelle.
add, yes.
Rian. So also, I think the department. Well, this is coming from myself talking my capacity as a childhood development specialist. So I don't think the department had thought through the reasons why also you'd homeschool, because part of the reason why you elected to homeschool your son is because he was the difficulty he had in let's say a normal school environment. They didn't really cater for him in terms of understanding the type of learner he is, how he process information, how information was assimilated, and it was affecting. So he had real concerns in terms of barriers to learning and challenges. And it was somebody that alerted you to this, and you did further research. And once you changed his environment, he actually thrived as a learner, and then you became a strong advocate for smaller learning environments and different learning environments that then can support learners that assimilate and process information in different ways. And do you think the department had really applied his mind when they came with this blanket ruling on homeschooling and smaller micro schools?
I I would obviously say no. They didn't apply their mind there because they don't know anything about micro schools. In fact, they are trying to close micro schools and put people in jail. There's heads of micro schools that work perfectly well. That maybe a room that they had to add on hasn't been really re-registered yet or re-inspected yet. but they are making war on micro schools and people and tutor centers that works perfectly well, where parents are quite happy to have their children educated. Now, what we at our charity promote is, of course, the idea of parent-run micro school. So every child is registered for homeschooling, and parents help each other out for days which they cannot spend full time with their child, and another parent comes in, and it becomes a parent-run school, and parents are very, very capable of following a comparable curriculum with all of the philosophy, ethics, and religious studies that's required in there. And every child can learn at their own pace using books, using tests that's already in place. It's the tools are all there. It is, in fact, very easy to homeschool a child. I know this because I did this. Because the child learns, you learn along with him, and all you do is assess and make sure that they are on par. And yes, I did pay for assessments, but it's important that the assessments in every phase that somebody is assessed to see that, after this is now after grade 3 and after grade 6, and wait a minute. It's every 3 years there's a phase that people need to be assessed, children need to be assessed to see if they keep up or are comparable to other children. My child thrived. He was way past that. He's now a network engineer in technology, information technology, which is a well-paid job, if I may say so. And then he also knows a lot about philosophy and religion, which he wouldn't have known if he went to public school. There's a lot of
So,
things that he knows now that he would not have known. So I can recommend it. However, these public schools must be fixed. They also have to be better than they are now. You can't just, give them an out. Each child should have 26,700 rand spent on them, because that is what the budget is. If you take the number of children in school right now and you divide it by the national budget for basic education, then you'll come to 26,700 rands, and that is how much value the government should provide to every child every year, and they don't.
so
There's this
um,
question.
to both, Rian. Thank you, Rian, for that. So, to both of you, there's still Western Cape left, despite the difficulties and challenges parents who are objecting to the build face. Um, there is still time. I'm told Western Cape. There's still hearings, as you've mentioned. They've now changed the time as well, but you can still send through your emails. You can still direct it. So on my screen, I have all the details here where friends and family, even if you're overseas, you can sell emails. You can then engage the department in and tell them why you reject the bill, what are your concerns, what clauses need to be reviewed, and and make a difference. I know the Petsalazzi Trust has been and still very, very fundamental and instrumental in opposing major sections of the Bela Bill. So I'm sure both of you, what is your appeal currently to other concerned parents, and what are you telling them? And from here, where to from now? So, Rachel, in a minute, if you can just round up and tell me, and then I'll get Rian thereafter.
So one, there is only one hearing that's still on the 4th of April, and we have up until then to do our submission. So we can send like an email. We can also go on to DRSA, which I think most people are aware about, DRS South Africa, and you can log your submission via that platform as well. You raised the question earlier about like whether the Bela Bill has covered all the necessary research has been done for all the things. I just want to elaborate on that. So the purpose of the Bela Bill was to align certain acts with changes in the current educational landscape. And that was the intention in 2013. Then the first draft of the Bela Bill kind of came out for public comment in 2017. Okay, people have, I don't know about it then, but people did comment on it and they sent in the objections. And then it's kind of uproared again last year. What I want to point out is from 2013, remember COVID happened. And during that time, from 2021 to, well, 2020 up until 2022, people actually resorted, when the schools were closed, they resorted to online schooling. It's like online schooling, homeschooling, and all those things weren't adequately like covered and known about in 2013 up until 2017. It's really, if you want to have a bill that is in line with the current educational landscape, we need to look at how drastically the landscape has changed since the bill actually started and was written. Things have changed really a whole lot. It needs to be scrapped, and then a whole lot of new search needs to be looked at it from now, how it is that we stand now. How is it government wants to be in line with the the fourth fourth industrial
Industrial revolution, yeah. Michelle,
Thank
I
you
need
so
to
much,
stop
my
you.
son.
Pleasure. I would like to revisit this again.
Yeah.
It's just that we're running out of time. I've got a minute for Rian to conclude. We're actually running out over time. So, Rian, I'll let you have the final say. This is your platform and your appeal to all parents, concerned parents.
Okay, so very importantly, at Western Cape on the 4th of April, it is important to go there at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. They did change the time because people couldn't make it because of prayer time. Now you have no excuse. Go there. Take placards with outside if there's not enough. Make sure that you get on as many, invite the media and make sure to say, I reject the Bela Bill in its entirety, all 40 clauses. Remember that there will be a lot of people that come from the unions that is with the ruling party that don't know why they should support the bill. They were just told to do so. That will be bust there. So don't listen to them. Your right as a parent trumps the right of the state. Definitely. Your right as a child trumps the right of the state. You, as a child, should not let your parent be jailed for a year for failing to cause you to go to a very bad public school. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. So please, all concerned parents out there, make your concerns known. This is, if you're concerned for your child, please object to the Bela Bill in its current form, and please state the the clauses that are of concern to you. We will revisit this topic once all the hearing is done, all the hearings have been concluded, and let's just see from there where to. And this segment, educational insight segment, has been brought to us by Easy Stationers for all your home office and school stationery needs. We're going to take a short break. I'd like to thank all my guests for joining us here, and we wish you strength and perseverance for fighting the good fight for your children. Thanks so much. And we're going to go for a break, and then we're going to talk about maintaining proper back health care. All this after the break.